The silver luxury sedan had been sitting in the corner of the shop for 8 months. Collecting dust. Taking up space. Annoying everyone. At first, the employees assumed the owner would return. Most people did. Sooner or later. But this car was different. Phone calls went unanswered. Emails bounced back. Certified letters were ignored. Eventually the vehicle became known simply as the ghost car. Nobody expected it to become the most important vehicle that ever entered the shop. Especially not Daniel Carter. A widowed mechanic and single father who owned the repair business. Daniel wasn't interested in luxury cars. He cared about paying employees on time, keeping customers happy, and getting home before his daughter Emma fell asleep. Life was busy enough. One rainy Tuesday afternoon, his office manager walked in carrying a file. The paperwork deadline expires next week. Daniel looked up. What paperwork? The abandoned vehicle. Immediately he knew which one. The ghost car. She nodded. According to state regulations, the shop had completed every required notification. Every legal waiting period. Every attempt to contact the owner. The vehicle would soon be eligible for auction. Daniel sighed. Fine. Then returned to work. He expected nothing unusual. He was very wrong. 3 days later, Daniel assigned one final inspection before the auction process. Standard procedure. Nothing more. Halfway through the inspection, one of his technicians called out. Boss? Daniel glanced up. Yeah. You should probably see this. The technician was standing beside the sedan's trunk. Daniel walked over. What is it? Without a word, the technician pointed. Hidden beneath the trunk liner was a small compartment. One that wasn't part of the factory design. Daniel frowned. That's odd. Carefully, they opened it. Inside sat a weathered leather folder. Nothing else. No cash. No jewelry. No valuables. Just documents. Daniel almost closed it immediately. Then he noticed a name. Sophia Reynolds. The owner of the vehicle. And one of the most famous CEOs in the country. Daniel recognized the name instantly. Everyone did. Sophia Reynolds had built a technology company worth billions. Magazine covers. Television interviews. Industry awards. The kind of person who didn't accidentally abandon a luxury car. Which suddenly made the entire situation feel strange. Very strange. Daniel opened the folder. Inside were photographs. Letters. Handwritten notes. Medical records. None of it looked corporate. None of it looked valuable. Yet somehow it felt important. Then he found the photo. A little girl. Perhaps 7 years old. Smiling beside a woman who looked remarkably like Sophia. On the back was a handwritten message. For Lily. Never forget where you came from. Love, Mom. Daniel felt a knot form in his stomach. Because something about this didn't fit. The billionaire CEO he saw in magazines looked polished. Confident. Untouchable. The documents in the folder told a very different story. One filled with struggle. Loss. And secrets. Then Daniel found something that stopped him cold. A newspaper clipping. Dated 23 years earlier. The headline mentioned a tragic apartment fire. Several families displaced. One child hospitalized. Attached to the article was a note written in blue ink. We survived. That's enough for now. Signed. Mom. For several seconds Daniel simply stared. The room around him seemed quieter. Because he suddenly realized something. This wasn't a hidden compartment. It was a memory box. A collection of things someone couldn't bear to lose. Which raised a question. Why abandon the car that contained it? That evening, long after the shop closed, Daniel couldn't stop thinking about the folder. Finally he made a decision. One last attempt. He searched for Sophia Reynolds' corporate contact information. Then sent a brief message. Ms. Reynolds. I believe we found something important inside your vehicle. You may want to call me. He expected no response. Instead, his phone rang 23 minutes later. The voice on the other end sounded nothing like the confident CEO from television. It sounded shaken. Please tell me you still have it. Daniel sat upright. The folder? A long silence followed. Then he heard something unexpected. A quiet sob. When Sophia finally spoke again, her voice trembled. You have no idea how long I've been looking for that. Daniel frowned. If it was that important, why leave the car? Silence. Long silence. Then came an answer he never expected. Because I wasn't the one who abandoned it. Daniel's heart skipped. What do you mean? Another pause. And then Sophia revealed a secret she had hidden from the world for 20 years. A secret connected to the little girl in the photograph. A secret that would change both of their lives forever. Daniel sat silently in his office. Rain tapped against the windows. The repair shop was empty. But his attention was completely fixed on the trembling voice coming through the phone. What do you mean you didn't abandon it? He asked. On the other end of the line, Sophia Reynolds took a slow breath. As though preparing to tell a story she hadn't shared in years. The car belonged to my sister. Daniel glanced at the photograph again. The little girl. The woman. The handwritten note. Sister? Her name was Lily. The name immediately caught his attention. Because the note on the photograph had said, "For Lily." Daniel listened carefully. My younger sister. Sophia's voice softened. She was the bravest person I've ever known. For a moment, Daniel heard only silence. Then Sophia continued. When we were children, we lost everything in that apartment fire. The newspaper clipping suddenly made sense. The fire. The hospital. The note. Everything. My mother worked 3 jobs. Sophia said quietly. We lived in shelters. A pause. Motels. Another pause. Sometimes our car.